share it to my friends.
Yeah, do it.
Who isn't here.
I'm also gonna probably put that in the GDG page. Actually, now that I think about it. Kind of cool, right?
This looks like a hacker's tab,
Which one?
like a ethical hacker. So many tabs open.
Oh, this is my. That's my life. Dashboard. Meetup. It's hearing me right now. Yeah. Oh, mute because it's gonna echo. That's gonna come through here.
I know the area well enough, yeah.
Oh yeah, sure. I'm gonna use the ladies' room because I feel a little sweaty after work.
You go down there to the left.
Okay.
So before the elevators to the left.
Okay.
And then it'll be on your right.
Okay.
Wait. No, you go to the right. You go to the right. It'll be on your left.
At least they're not far to go.
Yeah, they messed up the pizza.
Yeah, it's not. It's like right there.
They were
Well,
supposed to.
I'm fasting today, so I can't have until.
Yeah. I also forgot about that too.
No, if there's some extra, I'll take it.
Cool. How do I mute this? You should be able to mute this here. Up. Okay, that's live.
your reservation.
All right, we're ready to get kicked off here in 30 minutes. So grab a slice of pizza, grab a drink, and get all settled in the cool eatery over here at the Tango then. So come check it out. And thanks for coming out, everybody.
Sure.
It's kind of a cool setup.
Yeah.
I like the seating. We do our all hands here. And to those on the remote stream,
Oh, I
let's
can
see
pass
ya.
the button.
Hello.
We'll probably get started.
Yeah. Yeah. In a minute or two?
In a minute or so.
Yeah, let's go ahead and situated. Thanks everyone for joining the remote stream as well. We're going to kick it off in a minute or two.
It's like a fun amphitheater situation. Do I just lift this for on?
Testing.
Should I get past this?
I was thinking like you get there, figure out,
Did you say Valeria checked in? Or no?
Earlier.
Oh, earlier?
Yeah.
Like she was here earlier?
I don't know. I saw. I'll look at it later.
just talk on what I don't know. I'll,
What's it? Flutterflow?
yeah,
Yeah.
I got it. I can make it up.
How many people are online?
5.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. My name's Amanda, and I'm a GAG organizer and a Woven Tech Maker ambassador. Alongside me, I have Dan and Joel, who are also GAG organizers. Our theme for today is Redefine Possible, as we celebrate International Women's Day of the year of 2025. We'll basically go in talking about where we see the future of tech, AI, where we see the future of women in the industry, where we see the future of possibilities.
Yeah.
That's on you, bro.
Sorry, Joel works at Tag, so he's gonna take this over.
Thanks. Yeah, shout out for Tag for hosting this today and everyone who helped get this together. Thanks, Jay. Thanks, everybody. See? We're in the lovely atrium today. We're a leading healthcare company, Aspendental, Clear Choice for dental implants, as well as Well-Now Urgent Care. You may know them as Physicians Immediate Care here in the Midwest. Chapter Medical Aesthetics, as well as auto aligners. And then we also have, I gotta update the slides, AC Pet Vet, now Love It. So we even do vet businesses as well. We just opened our first vet in the city of Chicago on the corner there. So if you're in the area and you have a sick pet, I certainly brought one here. So good times. So yeah, thanks.
Wow, congratulations on that. So follow us on Twitter, our tag Chicago GDG. We also have a meetup group at this link right here, or you could just search up Chicago GDG meetup, and I'm sure our link will come up. And then we have our GDG Chicago bevy link. Just some rules that we like to follow over here. Be excellent to one another. This is a diverse community. We are learning from each other, and we are in an open space as well. If you see something, say something. We do not tolerate harassment. We do not tolerate any rudeness, meanness, so please come up to us if something does happen. And practice saying this and to each other. We aim to add to the conversation, not remove. And in April, we have Google Cloud Next 2025. Do you guys have anything to say about that?
This is a virtual. We're good, then.
This is a virtual one.
Slides after this, or
Yeah, go ahead, jump in.
All right, so Google Cloud Next is coming up. It's Google's big cloud conference. It's taking place, as you see, at Mandalay Bay in Vegas.
We have a discount code, but it's still pretty expensive. But I think we
and
can.
quite frankly,
It's like
I
$800
got
bucks,
an email
it's like-
today saying last minute $14.99. So if you want to pay over $1,000
Yeah.
plus flight plus hotel.
But Dan, how can we still get cloud events in Chicago?
But if you want to hear more about what happened at Next, do you know what date, Joel?
I don't know. Sometime in April
Sometime
20.
next month.
Yes.
We'll have an event that covers.
I think it's April 25th. I think, or something
Yeah, I
like
think
that.
so.
Join the meetup.
Yeah.
Find out.
I'll give you a recap on what happened.
Yeah. So, and then in May is Google I/O, which is their big. They call it a developer conference, but I'm going to be honest, it's more of a marketing one at this point.
More of a,
So, just be real on that. But there will probably be some new APIs and things released. Amanda, you know I'm not wrong with that. We'll do also an extension on that, probably around May. And then Flutterflow has graciously sponsored our pizza and drinks. I screwed up the pizza order or their user experience. I apologize for there not being no meat options, or no non-meat options, yeah. I swear I ordered 2 cheese pizzas, or thought.
I saw the
that
receipt that
I
said cheese
did.
pizzas. I don't think you messed up. I think there was 6 things.
Alright, cool.
So whoever wants to go work in Bocce's, tell us there was 6 things.
Yeah. So, anyways, Flutter Flow is the sponsor. If we can go to the next slide, so I know what it is. Flutter Flow is a low-code, is not a low-code tool. It's a visual development environment for developers. It makes you faster. For not so technical users, it gives you superpowers. Keep going. It's in action. Look at it go.
It looks like you collaboratively built. It's actually kind of nice. Like for just kind of quick apps and ideated and actually creative.
I've actually used Flutterflow before, and I think it's a really good tool. Definitely really useful for prototypes and app development, and creating applications and seeing what your future outcome will be on them. So prototypes.
And then with it being Flutter, it can go to all of the platforms.
Yes.
So,
iOS, Android.
so really, build better, launch faster, collaborate together.
And we may have some folks from the Flutter team or them.
I put another slide in there.
Okay.
But it was a QR code to 2 months free.
Is
Come
that
find
the
me later.
Yeah, we'll put it up before we close out today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll put it pretty close.
All right. Get going.
And just going back on Cloud.Next and Google I/O, if you cannot go in person, you can attend both of these conferences online. They have it streaming from the time it starts to the time it ends.
Yep.
And all right, now I'm going to let our panelists introduce themselves one by one. We'll first start with Mary. Just say who you are, what
Hello.
you do,
Okay.
and about yourself.
Sure. So my name is Mary Gwigleski. I'm the Director of Emerging Technologies at a consulting firm called Calibrity. They're a small firm, like 80 consultants, based in Ohio, Cincinnati to be exact. And I'm based here in Chicago. It's pretty much a remote-first company. So we work for client companies who are needing programming services a lot of times. So, but prior to that, I've been with them for about 9 months now. But previously, I was a developer advocate for about 6-7 years or so between IBM and then a company called DataStax. Then, even before that, I was actually a software engineer for 20-some years too, mostly in Java, but also like full stack and DevOps and all these things. But I'm also very active with the community, so I'm also organizer of Chicago Java Users Group, and also like working with Amanda with the Kotlin Users Group too, and also here with the GDG, so very good friends and doing a lot of things together. At the same time, I'm also working a lot now with AI and machine learning, so I'm involved too with an AI camp, and also Gen AI Collective, Chicago chapter too. So I kind of active between the work stuff and advocacy, and also with community. So that's me. Yeah.
Hello everyone, my name is Shri. I work as Lead Operations Strategy Analyst at Discover Financial Services. I graduated last year from UIC, from MIS Management Information System subject, and it's been almost 1 year I have been working for Discover, and my responsibilities are majorly around implementing the strategies to enhance business operations, and I also work with product owners and software developers to enhance customer journey, customer experiences. And since I have joined Discover, it's been quite an adventurous ride for me. And I'm super excited to be here, super psyched to meet few of the people in the audience. And I have been quite active in women in tech communities, not only in GDG. I have been part of Women in Product, Women in Tech, Women in Impact Tech. So there are a couple of women community that really advocate the usage of AI technology. They also encourage women, not only the entire group, women as well. And especially Discover is a place that is very very innovative and creative when it comes to technology, very aggressive. And well, I'm looking forward how this event will turn out.
Hi there, my name is Amanda Hitchman Dominguez. I've been based in Chicago for several years. I'm an Android engineer. I was a Kotlin GDE from 2020 to pretty much this year. They cut the program, so it is what it is. And we put in Coding Kinetics. That is actually my small little business. I took off a blissful 6 months from the career to start an opportunity to make coding and more accessible to folks. And not only that, for folks that are following along with my research throughout the years, they have a chance to really keep up close. And yeah, I'm also part of the Chicago Kotlin user group. As Mary mentioned, we work very closely together, Chicago Java user group, Chicago Kotlin user group, and GDG. It's been a lot of fun these years. And I also co-wrote a book, O'Reilly's Programming Android with Kotlin, Achieving Structured Concurrency with Coroutines. That's it. I'm happy to be here, and I'm really looking forward to the panel.
Hi, my name is Octavia Tay. I'm currently a senior technical consultant at Huron Consulting Group. Well, my title says senior technical consultant. What I have learned that I don't know if anyone else knows this, but in the world of consulting, being a technical consultant, it doesn't actually mean anything. That role means something different in every company and even within a company, every team. So I explain my job as I'm a software developer with a lot of client-facing time. What I do in my day-to-day is I've also been at my company for about 2 years, by the way. I walk my clients, and my clients being anyone conducting research. So I specialize in research administration software. So my clients are going to be universities, anyone conducting research like medical centers, hospitals, anyone in academia a lot of the time. I walk my clients through the entire project life cycle, so I'm working with them from anywhere from 3 to 6 months, and I get really familiar with their system. A lot of the times what I'm doing is I am rebuilding their system as it breaks when it moves through our upgrade. So they might move from version 9 to version 10.5, which is going to be 15 version jumps, and with that they have all these customizations that are going to break because our software is super customizable and it's super old. So I have to rebuild that, rebuild all their integrations, so my job and what I do changes and it's super fun. Outside of my job, I have, in this current role, I have a lot of experience with actually teaching the basics and fundamentals of programming to kids. I actually co-founded a program at my high school that taught fundamentals of programming to middle school girls, and in 2018 I was the winner of one of the National Center for Women in Information Technologies awards of I was winner of one of the awards for that. Not that I'm like blanking, I'm nervous. And yeah, thank you. I'm excited to be here. I hope everyone takes something away from the panel.
All right, so let's get into it. So the first question I have for you guys today is, how do you see emerging technologies such as AI and machine learning impacting opportunities for women in tech?
Yes, so in fact, that's what I'm working with now, AI and machine learning. Certainly, too, I think for women, we see also a lot of women, too, in the field, which is really encouraging. And I also see a lot of women, especially in data sciences, kind of related areas. And I think it is really great, especially with AI, machine learning, as we know, it's so new. It's still new, I should say it's not all new. But like with generative AI especially too, I think it calls for skills in many areas. For example, like prompt engineering, which is more, in my opinion, is more dealing with communication. Doesn't necessarily have to do with programming, you implement something, but being able to express what is needed. And I think, to me, I find like, especially with women, maybe in general, it's just, I'm not saying it's stereotyping, but it's just that it seems like we tend to pay attention to a lot of the details and knowing what to ask, and those things, right? So I think it is definitely, like, to me, I think, it, opens up a lot of opportunities too. And I'm not just saying only prompt engineering, but there are other areas as well. And also, to kind of look around these days, there are a lot more support of women in the field, and not just in data science too, but everything. And I think I see a general trend as compared with when I first got out of school, that was in the 90s, and back then it was much harder, I have to say. Like, I really was in a group of all the old guys, especially, my very first few jobs. So, not to say they were bad, but it's just different. And then I'm seeing a lot of changes too. And so, yeah, not just with AI, I think in general, I'm seeing a good trend that's supportive of women. So, yeah.
Well, that's a great answer. I would start answering with a question. Can you guys imagine your life without ChatGPT right now? I can't. Anything I think about, anything I'm going to do, anything I start, for example, a certification, even if I'm starting doing it, the first thing I do is, okay, what is the getaways for this certification? Is it going to be impactful for my future? So I think AI, especially Gen AI, is definitely empowering for women right now in so many things, and be it certifications or expanding the horizon of knowledge. If you have any focus areas, any skills you want to build, there are so many things out there, ChatGPT or any prompt you are using currently, that is kind of empowering you to handle that knowledge, like how to create that path. It's giving that thing away, and I think it's kind of enhancing our objective and expanding the horizon and kind of building the future. In the previous times, we used to note it down, like how our future looks like, what are the steps we are taking in. Now you just a paragraph away, maybe a prompt away, you have to just feed in few prompts and the answer would be there. At least a prototype of your future would be there. So it's nothing but empowering, especially to women right now. And as Mary said, that we are naturally sometimes shy to ask questions in the audience, in the crowd. So it's kind of answer our question. It's kind of a personal guidance, personal teacher. And sometimes in the class, we hesitate to ask questions to people. So it's kind of personal teacher. You can ask it anything without, thinking of receiving any judgments from people. So it's definitely empowering, if nothing else.
Thank you. That actually, Mary and Shree's answer just made me remember something. And this actually, I think, is a really helpful tip for everyone in the room. But I think, and this isn't just something as a woman that I struggle with, but as a woman, as a Latina, but this is probably something that everyone can take. But a lot of times as women, and even just when you're nervous to say something, when you're sending a professional email, when we write emails, we have this bias when we're writing emails, and we'll add things like, we'll say like, oh, just checking in, and we add those extra justs, or we'll add extra filler words to make them sound maybe more, to make our request sound softer or gentler, or to just tone down everything we're saying, whether that's consciously or not. And I know I've started using ChatGPT to rephrase the tone of my emails. And so what I'll do is I'll take the email that I want to write, especially when it's an email to maybe a client or a superior that I maybe, especially if I'm a little bit nervous about sending it, maybe I have bad news about maybe something I'm saying, or maybe it's something that I know that the client's going to be a little bit unhappy to hear, but it's like a stern thing, like, hey, I'm telling you that I can't do this, or this is how we have to do it, and I know you're not going to like it, but this is the answer, like, we're doing it this way. I'll take the email that I'm going to write, and then I put it into ChatGPT, and I'll say, like, write this in a different tone, make it a little bit warmer, even though we're delivering bad news, or I'm writing an email to a superior letting them know that I didn't like something that they did, or maybe my direct manager saying, hey, I didn't feel comfortable with the way that you addressed that in a meeting. And just the minor changes that I find a lot of times that ChatGPT will offer. You know, everyone complains, or they make the joke of they always want ChatGPT to sound more human. But using that reverse of taking away the humanness and like giving it our humanness and then asking it to take it away a little bit, it's helpful. It helps you learn to see your own errors. Like, okay, well, what did it change? It took away these extra filler words. It took away maybe didn't catch your grammar, but just making those little changes, it helps you learn, and it just makes it easier, honestly. But yeah, I definitely use ChatGPT for that. But and ChatGPT I find is the best one, but just generative AI in general, like whatever you prefer. But that's definitely how we as women and anyone, minorities, like men, if you're nervous, anyone can use a Gen AI tool that way, and it'll be super helpful, especially in the professional workplace.
Yeah, these are all wonderful answers. I actually started out as a professional AI user in the beginning, and I have warmed up to it a little bit. I do think that AI is best functioning as an assistant. I can definitely say it's not out there to take our jobs yet. You know, I tried to push it a little bit. I'm like, all right, what do you think about this? Something technical, and it just keeps giving the wrong answer. I'm like, this is the wrong answer. I'm trying not to get mad, but this is the wrong answer. You know what? I think I'm writing you too hard today, so don't worry about it. But yeah, I think leaning in kind of takes on a whole new meaning with ChatGPT. I love the email bit. That is something I definitely do as well. I've actually also, I've been going through a job search recently, and I'm kind of like hitting the offer stage. And, you know, I'm sure every engineer agrees with this. The interview process is a little soul-sucking, a little traumatizing. And on average, maybe you're gonna hit one or two that are especially rough. And actually, I have used it to kind of do these retros on how some of the interviews go, and it's been great because it actually helps me shift my focus instead of kind of just getting stuck on something that happens. You know, so something that tends to happen, I think to women a little more in the interview process. It doesn't happen that often, but there's going to be maybe one in the whole cluster where all of a sudden the interviewer's like, are you sure? And you already answered the question. They're like, are you sure? And you're like, yeah, I already answered the question, I'm pretty sure. And they keep asking that. It's kind of a weird like confidence pressing thing. It actually doesn't really happen unless you're hitting fame levels most of the time. But you know, I actually use ChatGPT to kind of analyze exactly what kind of testing that is. I'm not saying that it's right, But it helps me identify how to move forward with that sort of thing in the future. So I think using it almost as like kind of like emotional support pet. And the interview process has been amazing for that. But I would say aside from that, I think I wouldn't say that I'm gonna let it write my own stuff because you can easily tell when things are AI generated. I know I skip right over the ratings when it's like that. But using it as just kind of a rubber ducky has been very helpful.
All right, those are such great
therapy.
No, those are such great answers, and I totally agree with going back and forth with ChatGPT. I get in like a fight with it sometimes. Our next question is, how can we ensure that technological advancements, are inclusive and don't perpetuate biases against women?
Okay, so I think AI biases, that's like a branch of within this AI, and it's very important that we need to be guarding against, right? Any kind of bias. And of course, it's like garbage in, garbage out. So you want to make sure when you get into training your data, training your model, then you want to make sure the data itself is clean. And so in other words, an example would be if you're like, let's say somebody is using it to search for like some properties, you want to buy a house or something, and then you want to search for something, and you want to make sure the data itself is being trained, is also represents like a general population, rather than maybe there are certain areas that are more, populated by certain kinds of people or income level and all of these things. So anyway, to kind of answer your question is that you have to make sure when you go and use, or that particular model is, and I'm sure some of you in the audience who are data scientists, you want to make sure the data itself is also not biased, for example. So that's I think I can immediately think of, right, when you talk about that, to kind of safeguard that, the data is not going to represent something that would be prejudiced against certain types of group, things like that. So yeah, so that would be one thing. I'll let the other also answer what they think too.
So I think the resolution, like technical advancement, is not going to hamper anyone, but the biasness that you said, that we have to be strongly conscious about it as a collective group. So the team that is working hardcore on these things, AI, advancement of AI or any kind of training technology, they have to be conscious about, is this answer or is this response skewed towards one minority or one majority of group. So I think the more conscious, the more informed you are, the more educated you are towards taking the decision. So eventually the decision making should be strong enough that is fair to any minorities, majorities or any groups. So I think as a group collectively, we have to be conscious and educated enough, even if there is some biasness, how to combat that situation. Do we have the solution when this problem arises? So we can have this problem in place, but also at the same time we must have solution to it. As a collective group and as a conscious collective group, I would suggest that technology advancement is not going to hamper anyone, but it may, ultimately we are training AI to be like human, and humans are biased. So that is how you are going to be conscious and educated. The more the education, the more well-informed we are, the more solution-oriented we would be. So yeah, that is my answer.
I'm going to lean into the AI hating a little bit. AI is inherently biased because the data that we put in is, there's just inherent bias with the lens of the data that we're putting in. I think it comes back to looking at statistical sets of questions, and we ask, it's really how you're asking the data, like it's how you ask the question that you're trying to train for. I think there needs to be a lot of careful consideration for that, and at the same time, I think a lot of the way statistics currently exists, the way that psychology even exists today is all based on westernized white standards and questions. So I think if we understand off the bat that what we're working with is westernized, is inherently white, I think that is a really good place to start. I'm not sure if the answer is necessarily we need to feed in as much data as possible. It just sounds really creepy. I mean, maybe that is what needs to happen in order for a broader perspective to occur. But I dare say that, I mean, we can look at the way that social media is now analyzing certain word uses and how it might be dictated as free speech for some folks and something else for other folks. And I think there's just going to be inherent bias. I think as long as the people that are training it and the people that are running it are leaning away from, dare I say, you know, diversity, we're probably going to get skewed away from that for a little while. I think for the time being, I am using ChatGPT as a white translator for me. I don't have any answers for it. I think right now there's maybe not too much control over it, but if you are working in areas where there is a lot of data, where you do have access to AI, I suggest that you take that opportunity to expand to your colleagues. It's not necessarily your responsibility to educate them, but maybe you can convince them to start going to places that aren't inherently Western. I think there is a huge importance, maybe like reading more fictional books where the writers are even philosophy books where it's not inherently Western. Having exposure to non-Western ideas is really how you expand your ability to ask questions beyond the Western lens. So a lot of tech is in a Western ideology, and that's why there should be a liberal arts component. I think that is at least a good start to trying to expand, because right now, I mean, we don't know what we don't know, right? And we know that what we ask right now is very limited in lens.
Yeah, I mean, Amanda basically said it all. You know, tech is the product of ourselves, and tech is not going to change itself. It requires diversity in thought, and diversity in thought does not come from putting the same people in the same rooms. That's basically what it requires. I mean, it requires everyone in this room going to all the other rooms and making those changes ourselves. I mean, that kind of is what it is. We can't just rely on the same white men making the same white tools.
Yeah, hater with responsibility. Yeah.
Preach.
Yeah.
So, as we know, Mary and Amanda both run their own community groups, and I've had the opportunity to work with Octavia to run a community group. So, with that being said, what role do mentorship and community play in encouraging more women to pursue careers in the tech industry?
Question one more time, sorry.
No, you're totally fine. What role do mentorship and community play in encouraging more women to pursue careers in technology or in the tech?
It's everything. I'll go ahead and let you.
I want to answer this first because I think I have a really good answer because of the whiplash that I experienced. So I grew up here in Chicago, and I got really lucky with my introduction to tech. I attended, if anyone knows the school Lane Tech, I attended Lane Tech High School. I also attended their middle school program. So I was actually exposed to computer science as a 7th grader. So I started programming when I was like 12. And the environment that I was in there, I was completely supported in everything that I wanted to do. Lane Tech has the biggest computer science program of any high school, like in the country. I was exposed to HTML, CSS, Java, physical computing, laser cutters, like CNC mills. They had circuitry. Like I was exposed to things that I wouldn't see until like my 2nd or 3rd year of college. As like a sophomore in high school, I took multiple college level classes. And my entire experience in high school was all my teachers, all my professors, like I had nothing but love and support and most of my professors, all of them except one. Actually, I don't even think I had a woman professor in high school. All of my professors were men. They all supported me in ways that I had no idea were outstanding, like I do now. Even in college, they supported me. And then I got to college. And the first college that I attended was the Illinois Institute of Technology. I got a full ride. They were gonna pay for my bachelor's, they were gonna pay for my master's, they were gonna give me a housing stipend, they were gonna pay for me to go study abroad, they were gonna give me a lot of money. And I got to college and immediately it was complete whiplash because I was thrown into this environment with all of these bitter, like my peers were so bitter that I was there. They were like, what did you get on the ACT? What do you mean you're on a full ride? I was like, whoa. Also, there was like 5 girls. I was like, whoa, what's going on here? And then when my experience, I also, was supporting myself. I got a job and I missed a day of classes to go to orientation for my first job. I communicated this to my professors. One of my professors reported me to my, what do they call it? Crap. My, yeah, your advisor, yes. I'm like, what's the freaking word? Thank you. One of my professors reported me to my advisor, who happened to be the chair of the CS department. And he called me, and he told me that I could not work and go to school at the same time. And he told me to drop out. And I was just like, excuse me? And he tried backtracking. He was like, oh, well, I just meant it would be cheaper if you transferred somewhere else, like a city college, and then you could just go there and then come back. And I was like, I'm on a full ride. Nothing else is cheaper. I was shocked. Then come to find out, I did some research for the university the next summer, and I got to meet some of the older girls in the CS program there. Come to find out that they had also been told at some point in their time there to drop out by the same person. That person's not the chair there anymore, thankfully. But yeah, I left that college, and I left that college because I had my own things going on, and I decided that there was no amount of money that was worth living and going to a place and trying to pursue my education that was in a place that was so actively against my entire existence. And that wasn't a place that I could survive. And then I was able to turn around. And experienced the type of mentorship from that I deserved, but the experience type of mentorship that reminded me of why I was even at the place that I was at through everywhere else. The mentorship and the support and the love that I received from my professors in high school is what every woman needs, truly. And without mentorship, like, none of us would be here, truly. Like, I would not be here at all, because it was the ability to fall back on the mentors and the people around me that got me through and made me realize, okay, even though I have all these sucky people around me in this terrible environment, I know that this is not the entire world of computer science. It's a lot of it. It is. But it's not the entire world. And it brought me, and pushing through that brought me to spaces like this and meet all these great people, you know? And that's kind of how it works. My bad if I rambled.
So as Octavia said that there are so many things to learn out there, we get lost in so much information. And this community, not only this community, there are so many communities out there, they make us learn about the things that are trending. So what are the common topics people are working on? So those trending topics, we get that information about this community. Not only that, right now, it's important to have that much of knowledge, but it's also important to know people who have the knowledge and who are experienced in the industry, because you learn from such people, from their experiences. It improves your perspective on things and improves how to develop a future plan for yourself. Fortunately, I am working, or I am confident right now because of these communities. These communities have helped me a lot. So it's, as people say, it's important to know people who know other people. That is what networking is. And this community is definitely doing an awesome job at doing that, like connecting people who are actually thriving in the industry. And I think that's my answer. Yeah, you want to?
So in my case, right, it's interesting. I've been working for such a long time, I feel. But the thing is, though, I have to say, I started working, right, in kind of the 90s. And times were different back then, too. And there were actually some users group back then. There were like Usenets and the old thing, but not so much as it is today. And I started going to users group Actually, I'd say about 10, 12 years ago, when Java Users Group here in Chicago got revived by Freddie, if you know who Freddie Gimme is. But anyway, in my case too, I started going and I realized, wow, for the longest time I was just working in some work environment, and initially it was mostly male. And nobody was really bad, but occasionally I did run into someone who wasn't too respectful of women. I did. But I was thinking maybe that's the way it was. So I used to be more shy, I have to say. But because I started going to users group, and also the Chicago Java users group at the time, they were so nice, right? They were encouraging me to do things and, doing lightning talks and things like that. So I do have to say that the fact that I'm speaking now, I have to really thank C-Drug at that time, because there was lightning talks, and I decided, okay, I'm going to give it a try. And I remember that just to prepare 5 minutes of talk, the very first time took me like 2 weeks. But now I actually then became a developer advocate, so then I have to start talking, and I realized, wow, kept talking and talking. So anyway, I've been like doing this since 2018, so you know how many years. So anyway, so for me to reach to where I am now, I do have to say the user group definitely helped a lot. There was some mentorship too, I have to say, but I do have to say, still, at the time when I was growing up in the industry, there weren't as many women, I have to say. But somehow, I think because of my passion in this field, and so it has to kind of couple too with your own passion. You want to do it, and you understand what it brings to you and what you're looking for, and also then reach out to the user community. It's always good, like Shri is talking about, right? Yeah, she just want to make sure. And that, you know, it takes a village to help you to grow. That's what it is. And always reach out to the community if you need help. So that's also always good too. And here, the Google Developer Group, we have Java Users Group, the other Kotlin User Group, and other users group as well. Most of the time, too, people are very helpful. Everybody wants you to succeed. So yeah, look for those opportunities. Maybe do a lightning talk, things like that, and kind of that's how it opens up the door for you to get into speaking, for example. So yeah, looks like Amanda has something you want to say.
Mary's really underselling herself. She was like a worldwide international speaker for many years, so it's awesome hearing how you kind of got into it. And it's funny because I also kind of got into the same thing via user groups. Like, look, we all know that mentorship is vital, but you know, it's kind of like, how do we get that kind of mentorship, right? I think mentorship in a community setting is probably the best way to go about it. Going to meetups like these, Kotlin user group, Java user group especially. No matter the environment, in some conferences as well, it's really worth looking at. You know, for example, Amanda actually put up something that's really important, and I actually judge every community by that standard, which is the set of rules that they have, especially with no tolerance. It's like spaces that are very, very explicitly creating inclusive spaces with consequences. It's like kind of a hard thing to enforce, but you gotta do it. And I think in these spaces, these are the only spaces that I've actually existed in tech, where I can go and kind of say, hey, this is what's going on in my life right now, life or career, whatever. And it's in these spaces, whether I'm at a meetup or at a speaker, where people are giving me the realist career things. Like, it could be like, hey, I wrote half of this book and, you know, it's done now, but now there's this other guy there. The whole thing's kind of weird, actually. He's kind of a dick. And then so I explained the whole thing, and this was at a conference I remember at DroidCon in Berlin, and they sit there and they're like, there was an under the deal table you don't know about. Just and then actually just this January, so you know, I've been taking a break from the career, I'm getting back into it, but I sat there and I was like, I don't want to go back to work. And in fact, I could go another 6-7 months. Like, I'm enjoying my time. And then they're like, oh no, once you get bored, you'll get depressed. You better start looking soon. I was like, oh, all right, fine, I'll start looking. And even when I started going to, you know, I'm doing this job search, and I've had staff positions thrown at me recently, I personally feel like my career has suffered enough from forced promotions. And I had a friend come over recently, and he's like, oh, you should talk to Stacy Davino. She's like one of the first women in Android. Such a cool lady. And I admire her so much. She is so cool. If you don't follow her online, you should. She's just like the baddest. Like, she's awesome. So smart. Yeah, she is the community. So I reached out to her per the advice of a friend, and I was like, Stacy. I told her the same exact thing, and she's like, I know what's wrong. Like, you do. Thank you. And she was like, you know, like, once you get to that stage, you just kind of start going between senior, staff, principal, you just kind of keep going around, just what, you know, you just kind of keep going around and around for the rest of the career. I'm like, oh my God, thank God. You know, just like having mentorship in a community setting is everything, because maybe you're wondering, well, how the hell am I going to get that mentorship, right? I think doing it in a community setting is best, because it is away from your work. It's you're separating yourself from the office politics. So you can ask these real questions about what's going on at your work if you want after this panel. If you guys got one of those, like, maybe you can give it a go and share some of those situations with us afterwards.
To add to that, Who wants to struggle alone? Let's struggle together.
That's right, Shri. Let's struggle together. So, how can we ensure that AI remains a tool that empowers rather than replaces human creativity and decision making? Whoever wants to start.
I am an AI advocate. It is never going to replace our jobs. It's going to replace the menial jobs that we have been banging our head doing it. But it will help us to improve. Instead, like it's all the menial manual jobs we've been doing it, we do not enjoy doing it. Instead, it is going to enhance our creativity, enhance our innovation power. It's never going to deter our ability. In fact, it is going to enhance the potential of our brain that we have been, dedicatedly using it doing the manual tasks. So now we improve business acumen, business potential, how to strategize the things. So it's never going to replace us. It's all going to enhance our creativity, innovation, and as a business person, as a tech business person, I'm not going to think that it's going to take away all the job opportunities. So I'm a very strong advocate of AI. So yeah.
I think in regards to the creativity component of the question, it really comes down to ethics and the ethics pertaining to how one is using AI, how one is developing AI, and the source of the data. If you're a developer developing AI, I think using ethical sources of your data, not training on like artist data, maybe training on data that only has it's like open privacy, it's not patented, it's got like open copyright, something like that, it's not copyrighted. Training on data that's not stolen from any artist, it's going to come down to things like that. And if you are you're just a user, vetting the AI of your choice, making sure that you are not contributing to the use of AI that maybe goes against some of your personal values, not using AI that contributes towards the theft of art, maybe the theft of just maybe has questionable data sources in terms of creativity. We always joke about, oh, haha, like AI is going to replace our jobs. Well, there are other jobs that we don't want it to replace as well. The creative jobs are just as important.
I guess in my case, right, I think somehow the hype out there is causing a lot of confusion, and it's not actually speaking what AI, can do. The fact is, we know all the large language models. It seems like, oh, it's fancy, you're able to ask it and it does all the stuff for you. But think about it though, the world is actually more complicated than that. And that's why too now, if you're following it, there are lots of research and activities in doing agents, for example. So agents, AI agents. So those are actually, to me, is actually more of the future to enable AI to become more useful. Because if you look at today, yes, ChatGPT, you can ask it to do some work. It's pretty much a one-shot thing. You tell it to do something, it does it for you. And then, of course, you have to be careful, too, because there are hallucinations. We talked about it, too. You don't let it control you. So don't trust it, too. And in fact, I saw somebody was kind of making a joke, but also very true, is that, the way it is, yes, we can hire AI, or not hire, but use AI to do all the work for us. But in a few years, actually, software engineers would be even busier because we have to fix all the bugs that AI cannot do, and a lot of the wrong things. So, in other words, don't trust it. and always question and be critical. Don't become lazy is what it is. We still need to learn, as software developers, we still need to learn and understand the internals of how things work. Then we can be better judging, is it doing the right thing? That type of stuff. There are data, is it correct? What it is saying. So don't become lazy is what I feel. And so that would be one thing. I don't know if I deviate from the original question, but and we basically want to say yes. We have to also, as developers, we need to also build in guardrails when we are doing apps. Make sure you have guardrails. And let me tell you something. It's funny too. I did a workshop in Sweden last month, and one guy participated in my workshop. And we were playing around with DeepSeek. So I said, let's do it locally. So we downloaded the smallest DeepSeek, like 1.5B. So he started playing around, and all of a sudden he was like all excited. He said, guess what? I'm asking, the DeepSeek to a question. Can you tell me how to commit a crime? And guess what DeepSeek this 1.5B says? It says, sure, let me show you how to commit a crime legally. It's kind of really funny too. So, as you can tell, right, these LLMs, they are not trustworthy. They cannot tell right from wrong. So always be critical, right, about what it is doing. But like Shri says, use it as a companion to help you. We cannot possibly have all the memories to remember everything. Use it, right, and complement what you're missing, right? We cannot remember all the things. We cannot, all the stuff we get tired. Maybe some things, yes, we can rely on AI to do, but not everything. Just don't be lazy. We still need to learn. We still need to do things. We need to leverage on AI to help to enhance us, like, everybody was saying. So that's my thinking about it.
So when I was applying for jobs last year, without ChatGPT, I would have applied like 100 jobs, but because of ChatGPT, I could apply 200 jobs. Okay, so that's efficient ChatGPT. That's how I utilize it. But do not ask it to make decisions for you. That is up to you to make the decision of your life. Be the master of your life. ChatGPT is not the master of your life. So when I was applying, whenever I was curating resumes, because you know what, while applying you have to change, make small changes in the resumes and have to compare with the job description and the resume and again apply. So that is how ChatGPT efficiently utilized by me. So that is how you have to utilize it. And that is how I enhanced my job opportunities, the chances of job opportunities. Like more you apply, more you feel confident about getting a call, and more you can reach out to people, how to curate messages to people. So that is how you have to think strategically how to utilize this Gen AIs. So yeah.
All right, going on to our last question. So any questions in the audience? We can do that after this question. Our last question is, how can we prepare the next generation of women for careers in tech as the industry continues to evolve? One more time. How can we prepare the next generation of women for careers in tech as the industry continues to evolve?
Do not hesitate to reach out to people. People have so much knowledge. Even if they do not have depth in it, they would know what is relevant right now. So as a woman, what I did, I was ready to accept the fact that I needed help. I was not hesitant to, initially I was, but then I kind of took help from people, and you would have no idea to know how many people are on the same boat, how many people share the same struggles. I'm 100% sure that so many people in the audience would share the struggles with me as well, while applying for jobs or while enhancing your knowledge or anything. So do not reach out to people, reach out your peers, do as I said, struggle together. Maybe you do not know anything about it, You have a particular skill set, your fellow peer might have the next particular skill set, and utilize that skill set. I mean, obviously, we do not have everything in us, so that is how the team is formed. So I would suggest the next generation women should be confident enough. Confidence is inducive. What I feel that if I have confidence, I have the power to induce that confidence in my fellow peer, because I have also got confidence from the fellow women. So I kind of attended all this community-driven women community. They kind of induced that confidence. They kind of assured me that you are not alone in this industry. We are with you. So technology is something, it's constantly evolving. If you have finished learning something, and it will be evolved and it will change to something else. So you have to be on that roller coaster, you have to be prepared for that, you have to be aggressive enough and not very, you have to be technology agnostic so that you will be ready to learn. Be a student, be a forever student. So that would be my huge suggestion.
Yeah, I think that's well said too. I feel it is very important. Yeah, I have to say, even though I've worked many years, but actually the thing is, I myself, right, I also enjoy, and there's a chance coming up, for example, with a high school hackathon. So I'm going to help out and do a little workshop and then have people ask questions. And in fact, I'm looking forward to it because I feel at certain times too, because things are changing so fast. Sometimes I learn from the young people too, because you have new ideas that came up. Maybe I'm doing something the old way, but realize that there are new tools and things like that. So to me, because this field is so exciting, it's constantly evolving. So the attitude, let's say with old people like me, I would say that that's why it's exciting, because it never stays the same, and I have this desire to want to keep learning. So always keep that in mind too. I think it keeps your mind younger, make yourself look younger as well. So, but anyway, the point also is that reach out to the community, and I love the community here. And I kind of, the more I do it, I feel like, people might say, okay, it's a thankless job, but I don't look at it like that, because I get a lot of joy from interacting with people, helping people, and I learn from them. So I think we should maintain a good attitude. I think it helps us, not just in this field, but everything too. So that's my thought. So.
I have two things to say. One is going to be tech specific, one is like networking advice, but it's something I wish I would have been told sooner. The first thing is, don't be afraid to start from ground zero and have to rebuild. Your degree is really just a toolbox. It'll always be a toolbox. They are just the skills that you need and are learning, and sometimes you are going to you're going to be knocked down and you're literally going to be starting from nothing, even if it's in your exact same job and same role. I can speak from experience. My company has rebuilt our entire software on an entirely new tech stack, and I have to relearn everything, and it's terrifying. It's totally terrifying. But you have to take what you know, and you can't be afraid to start from ground zero, because you have to just be confident in what you know and keep pushing forward. You're going to have to do it a lot, whether it's the new job, whether you're totally pivoting to a new industry. Just be confident in what you know. The second one is that when you are networking, I know we always are thinking, oh my God, that's a director, that's a senior so-and-so. Like, we see these shiny titles and we hear all these accolades and we get a little starstruck and we're like, we want to go talk to that person. But really, you want to be networking with the people like your peers, because, and this is advice from someone who was a managing director at my company. She did like a panel like this and was giving advice to all the analysts. She said that the relationships that she has fallen back on time and time again are the relationships that she built when she was an analyst. And that's because when you're an analyst, when you're just, kind of like, not no one, but when you're at the bottom of the totem pole, The relationships that you build are built on an organic experience. They're not built because someone came up to you because you're a director and wanted something from you because you're a director. So if you focus on building a relationship with the people around you while you're, maybe younger or lower earlier on in your career, eventually everyone is going to move forward in their career. And with that natural career progression, you're going to have, Mary the director. I met Mary when she was an analyst 20 years ago. And now you have that relationship to fall back on. Now you're not reaching out to your friend, Mary the director, because she's a director. You're reaching out to that person you knew 20 years ago, and you have 20 years of history. So forming those tight bonds, they don't have to be tight, just forming those organic relationships when you're not reaching out to that person because they have something that you're looking to get from them is really valuable. And people really underestimate that because it's just that you don't have anything that you want from them at this time because you guys are lower on the totem pole.
100%. I work at Discover as well, and when I was interning over there last summer, most of the directors and CEOs that I met, they literally started at the bottom. They were either an intern, they were either an entry engineer, and it just shows you how much those people grow, and the connections that you make when you first start at a company are the ones that you're going to carry to the end of your time there, the end of your role.
Octavia and Marion Tree, those were incredible nuggets of advice. I think you should take all of that to heart. I agree with all of that wholeheartedly. I'm going to add a few more for everyone. I think whatever you keep doing, make it fun for yourself. The last thing you want to do is burn out. I burned out 3 years ago. And it takes 3 years to partially recover. So don't burn out. Keep it fun for yourself. Set boundaries. I think this is advice that's applicable for everyone. Be visible in what you do, but do it in your own way. Don't let anybody just be like, oh, can you do this thing for me? And it's really good on the company. You should ask yourself, is it benefiting you or is it benefiting the company? Right? I'm here, I actually tend to stay away from company panels, but for something like this is like a favor for some friends and for a really good community. But, and then I guess the last bit is don't learn anything that you wouldn't want to be assigned to. Don't learn any skills you don't want to be assigned to later on.
All right, a round of applause for our panelists. Does anyone have a question for them in the crowd?
Yes, what questions do you have?
If you guys don't have any questions, that's completely okay too. All right, well, thank you for...
You guys mentioned ChatGPT. Are there any other websites that are your top 2 or 3? Perplexity.
Wow. It creates itinerary for you, and it's amazing. A couple of my colleagues use that for creating and optimizing their itinerary.
It uses real-time information, not just from the model. So yeah, it is good.
If you're paranoid about data collection, you use duck.ai.
Yeah.
They already have all my data anyway.
Hi everyone, it's really amazing meeting you all here. So I have the question, actually, this is being a international student still, I really have a huge, big question that I know there are opportunities like oceans here and you have to just dive into that, right? But somewhere being an international student here, we go through a lot, like the work authorization or something, but where we know that we can be best and we can bring the best to the table if they take us in. But somewhere I'm struggling currently that how to prove that when I'm applying for internships now. Like we are eligible to apply for internships after 12 credits. So somewhere I'm just stuck somewhere that applying for so many companies, still not getting, like, how should I prove my worth? Like, I can go for this if you give me a chance, you know. So somewhere I'm stuck and I really would love to have, you know, your, whatever the thinking, you can give it for me, and also I can pass it to my international friends while there.
That's an awesome question, because I'm also an international student. So give me an answer.
So yeah, I'm on the same boat, and it is frustrating, but it's a stress in the hindsight. I have kept it there. When I came here, I kind of knew what I'm getting into. I knew what struggles are. I knew how frustrating the journey is going to be. And the first step that you are doing is showing up for this community, this event. And I applaud everyone here. This is the first step you are doing, because in fact I got my current role and my previous internship because of the community, because of the networking, because I know that when I talk to someone, I have my elevator pitch ready. Because, you know, recruiters or the hiring managers, they receive plethora of messages online. So I am confident that if I'm meeting someone in person, I can give the elevator pitch. So prepare that elevator pitch anywhere you go, and that is the second step that you can do. And do not expect this, you know, turning out to be a positive immediately, because it is a journey. It is not going to be, you have to, you know, ups and downs and downs and downs, then one up. So that is how our journey going to be. And when I was applying for internship, I sent so many messages to recruiters with no responses. I was like, okay, this is a new day. I have to message another recruiter. So that is how my day looked like. Same goes with my current job. But yeah, after going through messaging 200 messages, sending out 200 messages, then I would be getting 1 responses. But if you know people who are searching for people for this specific role, that is what you are developing right now. It is not going to come out from single community event. You are going to do it multiple times, multiple practice. That is how you are going to develop your personality. That is how you are going to be confident approaching people. So kind of I call it as blind dating. So just go and approach people, even if you get rejections. So I'm like, oh, it's okay, it's another rejection. Let's move on to another person. So you might stumble across people who are actually looking, who actually know people who are looking for people. So that is how you get confidence. That is how you improve your perspective. That is how you look at your struggle. It becomes, the more struggle you face, next struggle you'll be habituated with it. Okay, it's another failure. Okay, then you need only one success. Okay, to gain that strong confidence. So yeah, as an international student, that is what I did for myself. But I know that everyone's journey is not going to be mine. They have their own personal goals, personal struggles. So you can only be inspired from them. I mean, things can work for me, things may not work for you, or things that work for you may not work for me. So think about it intelligently, very smartly. And I am, previously I used to be a hard worker, but I try to be a smart worker right now because I'm lazy right now. I have to be smart. So I am a smart worker now. So before I initiate doing a task, I think for 5-10 minutes, how can I optimize this? Okay, how can I limit by hard working? Because you have only 24 hours, you have to enjoy life as well. Okay, you cannot compromise on that. So study and compromise, as they said, like study hard and party harder. So yeah, that should be the goal of your life.
Go for an international student, but if I do believe in the working smarter thing. In fact, I think there is a great value to being lazy. Being lazy is a good thing. So if you're looking for a quick job, because I know how high pressure it is and the time limit, the networking is a huge aspect of it. I mentioned earlier that visibility is also important. Since Twitter, everything's been split up, or the death of Twitter, whatever you want to call it. I would say participating in online communities is a good way to help increase that visibility. What I do is anytime I'm working on a personal project and I learn anything and I'm like, oh, I actually could not find this on the internet, but I figured it out. I write up a Medium article and I share it, and you know what, if you want, you can follow me online. I do Android and Kotlin mostly, but if you follow any of us online, you can start Kuber following, and bam, you're already in the community. You start commenting, you start liking things. So increase your visibility. That's a good way to get a direct streamline of legitimate jobs, and on top of that, when you're going on LinkedIn and you're looking at those jobs, because I just went through the job search recently, I was not sure how I was going to do, because I know a lot of my colleagues who are senior top level, they're like, yeah, it's 6-8 months. I'm like, oh, Jesus. There's a few hacks. So for example, look at the job rec. How many days has it been out? If it's been out for a year, it's probably a dud. You should definitely look and see, is this an actual thing that they're actively looking for, or is this a TikTok thing where it's already been banned? What's going on with that? So I think a good thing to also do to message recruiters, something that I actually got direct answers from me, I was like, hey, this has been open for this amount of time. Are you guys actually looking for something? What's going on with that? For some reason, they do answer that. Yeah, as opposed to, hi, I'm interested in your job. Just look at this. Jesus Christ. Look at the situation. We're in the desert. Just wants us to leave. Do we need a wave? Yeah. Just take a look. Make sure that the job is not stale. Trying to look on Glassdoor and look at what the interview process is. If it's starting to feel a little bit like a dud. I did do one project recently where I was realizing, I was like, oh, they're just using my work for their benefit. I don't know if they're actually hiring. And, stuff like that. Try to do a little bit of circumventing, is this a real job requisition? Another thing you can ask people is why are you looking for someone to fill this position? That will tell you a lot. Work smarter, ask more critical questions when you're looking for that job, and follow all of us on the community. I don't know what stacks you guys are doing, but I think if you follow us, we can all say what stacks we're doing, but yeah, just I think that's a smart way to go.
All right. Thank you guys for coming today.
Yep.
And before we go real quick, if you guys still want the 2 months of Flutterflow for free, here's the QR code.
Yeah, it's right over there.
Yeah, down the hall to the...
Yeah, there's I think also one on the side on the left as well.
Right or left?
Either or.